human trafficking is one of the largest growth industries on the planet. Let's just take a moment to digest what that actually means. And something like 80 to 90% of girls, women and girls who are trafficked in the province of Ontario or within Canadian borders are Canadian born. If we are able to do this work successfully, efficiently, effectively, quickly, then we start pulling the rug out from under traffickers. I think there are two parts to that answer, which is, what does it mean for a generation of kids to grow up in a world in which they or their parents don't have to worry about being trafficked at their school? I think that's pretty freaking awesome. If you're a business owner or a banker, it means that you are choosing a higher quality customer who's going to generate revenue sooner and for much longer. And the cost of onboarding a bad actor and then getting rid of them is incredibly expensive and takes a really, really long time. And while you're doing that, you are facilitating things that you likely don't want to be a part of. The commonality between all of our customers, the thing that they share, in order to keep up with their AML compliance homework, they typically have to add bodies to do that. It's really expensive to run your business that way. Their typical challenge is they're growing so fast, they're onboarding tens of thousands of customers in a month. Each one of those customers has to be screened for sanctions, political exposure, and adverse media, and then risk assessed. Is this a good customer or is this a bad customer for us? That work is incredibly labor intensive, and up until quite recently, the available technology only gets you so far. The reigning technology in the name screening space is really string matching, and all that can tell the user is this name sounds like this other name that's on a bad guy list, but it doesn't actually help you determine if that's your customer or not. So hundreds of thousands of work hours are lost by hundreds of analysts as they try to puzzle out if this is a good customer or a bad customer for them. In my opinion, what makes this problem so hard to solve is that the volume of data that you need to be able to ingest and synthesize in just a few seconds is massive. 4.5, 5 billion data points to understand whether that person poses risk to your organization or not. Historically and typically, lots of technologies aren't able to ingest that kind of data and provide a view back to the analyst. They expect the analyst to complete the algorithm for them instead of giving them the actual information. This is a good customer, this is a bad customer, this is why. Here's what we found that says this might be a risk you can't tolerate, versus this sounds like a great customer for you, giddy up, get going. Current technologies don't do that job. They let the analyst do that job, and it is manual, and it is painful, and it takes a long time. And we make mistakes because, human. I help our customers pick the very best customers for their business. I help them shorten their time to revenue for each and every one of those customers and make really solid decisions that align with their risk appetite as an organization. It was really a perfect storm of things that happened really closely together. I spent a lot of time working with investigation teams who were doing this work manually, highly educated, multilingual, jurisdictionally specialized investigators doing 35 Google searches and executing copy and paste as part of their investigation process. This struck me as ridiculous and not the point of their job. Their job isn't cut and paste. Their job is find risk or dismiss risk. That's what they're there to do. While I was growing frustrated with my employer's lack of desire to invest in their analysts, in tools, in training to make them better at their jobs and help them do their job more efficiently and effectively, something else was starting to unfold in the news, and that was the early stages of the Jeffrey Epstein trial. So girls, young women being trafficked. What we learned in the aftermath is that behavior was discernible, discoverable, both through adverse media, criminal and legal searches, as well as a transactional behavior. It was 100% preventable. So for me, if I wanted anti-money laundering to actually be anti-money laundering, I knew I had to bring together efficiency and effectiveness and at a kind of technology that did not exist yet. And I wasn't going to be able to do that in a bank environment. It is really difficult to discern the risk landscape of your organization and your customer base when you cannot sort signal from noise, because it's mostly noise. 98% of what you get through an alerting system is mostly noise. If, as an organization, you don't have a handle on your metrics, what are you screening, what's your total hit rate, when those hits get resolved, what does the false positive and true positive rate look like? When you don't have these volume metrics on your business, it's also really difficult to select a new vendor and talk knowledgeably about what makes the difference. We're really focused on creating a high quality alert. And that's an alert that's not just the name and maybe a partial or full date of birth and an address or whatever. We're looking for a larger contextual picture about that person. What can we learn about them that will give you comfort or give you pause? And that's the decision the analyst is trying to make. So why not take them all the way there?